All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 544 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am Via Balla. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And before I get to the question that's on the topic of the show today, because obviously you see the topic is going to be, are the Falcons the best team in the NFC South? Strictly on paper. On paper. I'm not saying anything outside of that, just on paper. But I want to look at this wide receiver list because this wide receiver list are the remaining wide receivers that are on that are available for free agency. And I'm really interested in looking at some of these, and I may make a shot at a couple of these players. Um, I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on this real quick, and then we're going to jump into the topic. So, if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. I want to thank you guys for supporting, and I hope you guys continue to support. So don't mind, hit that like button. Give me a 5-star rating if you're listening to on the podcast avenues, and I really would appreciate it because it helps. It goes a long way. Well, with that being said, if you're not listening, well, if you are listening on the podcast side of things, on the screen on the YouTube and Rumble side, I have a list of the receivers that are still available on the that are still available in free agency. And I'm gonna give you a few names, and there's about two, maybe three guys that I'm actually, well, honestly, I'm looking at this list now, maybe four guys I'm interested in. This is going to be for a wide receiver number 2. I know we have a pretty good bit of the pass catchers now with London. We also have Kyle Pitts, and we just signed Jonnu Smith. So we do have some players, but we do need a number 2 receiver. I've heard that there are some rumblings that we may get one in the draft. I would like to get Jalen Hyatt out of Tennessee. But we still may go that route. But do we need a veteran number 2? And, well, let's look at this list. Right now, Odell Beckham Jr. is still on the list, is still out there, but they're saying he's going to the Jets possibly. DJ Chark Jr., I think he'll be an excellent pickup for the Falcons. I think he will be a solid number 2. Possibly play the role at number 1 sometimes if they want to move people around. I think that'll be great. Adam Thielen is out there. Very good possession receiver. I think his role is backslide a little bit. I don't think he plays like a number 1, but I think he'll be very good as a number 2 as well. Paris Campbell, yeah, okay, not too bad. Mecole Hardman is the first guy that jumped out. That's why his name is highlighted. I would love him to come back because he was a Georgia Bulldog. I would love him to come back and play for the Atlanta Falcons. I think he'll be somewhat of an upgrade from Zacchaeus. I do like Zacchaeus, don't get me wrong. The only knock on Hardman is his health. If he can stay healthy, he will be electric for this team. So that will be nice. Darius Slayton is still out there, not bad. I will pass on Jarvis Landry. There was rumbling on him coming here last year when the whole situation with Deshaun Watson. Julio Jones is a no. I'm good on Julio. Julio don't want to be here, so there's no reason to bring him back. Alamaz Zacchaeus is the safest pick. I would like to bring him back because he's the more familiar. And we know what we're getting out of him, and he knows what is expected of him, and we know that he can deliver. So that would be the safest pick. The Marvin Jones Jr. is actually another person that I looked at, outside of DJ Chark, Mecole Hardman, and now we're looking at Marvin Jones. I think he will fit pretty well with this team as well. I'm not sure that they will look towards him. And the last 4, Mac Hollins, Randall Cobb, Trent Sherfield, and Nelson Aguilar, I will pass on all of those. Heard Nelson, sorry, not Nelson, but Randall Cobb is going to the Jets possibly as well. Nelson Aguilar is a safe pick. I mean, he's pretty reliable, but I just don't see the Falcons going that route. So I don't see it. But nevertheless, what do you guys think? I think this is actually an interesting set of wide receivers that are out there, and it would not be a bad look if the Falcons, take a slash at any of these guys. I mean, I think DJ Chark is probably the best out of the bunch, but I think Mecole Hardman fits us the best, and all of my Zacchaeus is probably the safest pick. So let me know what you guys think. Let's get into the topic at hand. Are the Falcons the best team in the NFC South? On paper, absolutely. I think they are, and I'm not saying that because I'm a homer, but I'm dead serious about this. with all the moves that the Falcons have made, they made the biggest moves, and obviously they should have had the most money, out of the division. But it just goes to show you how many teams fell off, how many other teams that are actually was right there on the cusp. And believe it or not, guys, the Falcons was right there on the cusp of winning this division. I mean, I think we lost the division by one game or something like that. I think it was an 8-9 team. The Bucks won the division. We were 7-10. And I mean, a couple of things go our way. The sack on Tom Brady that should have happened, and a couple other games we could have won this division. So Coach Arthur Smith done a very good job with what he had. But with what the Falcons have gotten now, they've improved a lot. They touched on things that they needed. They got some very high quality players, and they didn't really swing for the parts for the home run type of players. But they got players that are actually going to come in and contribute right away. Looking at the Panthers, they gave up a lot to get the number one overall pick, and I just saw over the wires that the Panthers now have what's his name, Sanders. I can't remember his first name. Running back Sanders from the Eagles will be going to the Panthers, so that's interesting. So what does that mean for Donta Foreman? They're two different type of backs, but still, I mean, are they trying to get a version of Christian McCaffrey back? But Miles Sanders signed with the Panthers, but I haven't heard anything else that they've done. The Bucks just signed Baker Mayfield, which I thought that was going to be the case. I think a couple other guys, Levante David, I think he re-signed, and I think there's a couple other guys re-signed with the Bucks. But I don't see them being nowhere near as good as they were the last couple of years. Without Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield's in the backfield at quarterback. I think we should be able to get at him and rattle him a little bit with our new up front seven. And when it comes to the Saints, we pretty much took a good bit of their defense. Defensive coordinator, a couple other players. I don't see the Saints doing much. They do have possibly the best quarterback in the conference, right? I mean the conference, but in the division. Derek Carr is probably the best quarterback. It's not a knock on anybody else, but you look at the Panthers, they don't have anybody right now. Their quarterback Sam Darnold went to the 49ers, and you see Baker Mayfield. I don't think Baker Mayfield is better than Derek Carr. And the Falcons still have Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke. Could you make a case that Desmond Ridder could play on the same level as Derek Carr? I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't. But I mean, he's only played 4 official regular season games. You don't know what he is at this point. To be honest, he's still in development. You have to at least take another 4 to 8 games to actually know what you have with Desmond Ridder. So, but when you look at everything else that's going around in this division, the Falcons clearly with the most cap space made the best moves. And as of right now, I believe they're the best team in the NFC South. I mean, there's I can't make a case for any other team. And, I don't have any problem making a case for those teams because I want, to be transparent on what this team is about and what they have. And for all intents and purposes, the Falcons already had a pretty decent team. I see a lot of things that people don't realize. The Falcons was actually a pretty good team prior to all this going on. Even, with the turmoil with Marcus Mariota, we had a pretty solid team. And not only that, we had good coaching. You cannot win 7 games with this team without a decent coach and some talent. Was it the best talent? No, but it was something there. We really should have won like 3 games last year. Like seriously. I know some people that go back, not necessarily backtrack, but they're admitting now, they're like, man, I'm not gonna lie, I had the Falcons winning, 2 or 3, 4 games, but for them to win 7, I mean that's actually pretty comparable. And on top of that, a lot of the games that they lost, they were like within 8 to 6 points. They're like 1 possession games, 1 point losses. And a lot of people are tired of losing. I get it. You're tired of losing. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of all of this. All these L's and the way that we lose be so close. But I feel with what this team is doing, what this organization is actually trying to get rid of all that altogether. I think they're actually trying to be in a space where the Falcons are actually are winning games because the teams are basically the better team. This is just like what I said last year. I said I don't think the Falcons will lose because they're a bad team. I just think the other teams are actually better. And we saw what happened throughout the season. A lot of the teams that beat us were actually better teams. We were able to just hang with a lot of teams. Outside of the Bengals game, we did fairly well against everybody. The Buccaneers should have been like world beaters. They should have beat us really bad, but in both cases, we won one, and the other one we held our own. We went up against the former Super Bowl champs. We were down by a good bit, came back and almost made it a game. To be honest with you, Marcus Mariota was one decision away of possibly winning that game for the Falcons against the Rams. And I will stick with that. I think Marcus Mariota cost us a lot of games, but neither here nor there. We're actually in a different space now. I don't think we're going to get any other quarterbacks. I think these two quarterbacks are the ones we're going to roll with. I will be extremely surprised if we draft a quarterback at this point, because I thought we was going to just sign a quarterback later after the draft and draft a quarterback right away in the draft. Not even right away, but somewhere in the later rounds. But the fact you got Taylor Heineke, you jumped and got him early, it kind of signals that we're going to rock with these two, and we're just going to go with it. We may put somebody on the practice squad. I would think that. But when you look at the receivers, we are receiver number 2 away. It's one of the reasons why I talked about the receiver number 2 in the beginning of the show. We need another receiver. Cornerback, I think we're going to address that in the draft. But everything else, I think we did a pretty good job. Oh, also, I want to say this. We did re-sign Caleb McGarry. Be on the lookout. We may get another running back. I don't think Caleb Huntley's coming back. And how I feel about Cordell Patterson. He plays a lot of running back, but he's a little bit all over the place. Sometimes he goes to the wide out position. He does kickoff return. So I'm not necessarily saying that it is Cordell Patterson, Tyler Algier, Caleb Huntley. I'm not sure Caleb Huntley comes back. So we may sign we may draft another running back. And I heard a lot of talks about Bijan Robinson at number 8. At this point, I don't know, because best player available looks like that's going to be on the board. And Jalen Carter didn't look too good in his pro day. I don't know how much that means or what it's worth or whatever the case may be. He got a lot on his mind, so that could be that as well. But he didn't look too good in his pro day. And I'm still a Nolan Smith fan, but after signing Caden Ellis, I don't know what's going on. Maybe we do go running back, Bijan Robinson. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we go receiver. I don't know. It's all over the place at this point. So, but just give you my thoughts and opinions on that. At the end of the day, I still believe that the Falcons right now on paper are the best team in NFC South. We did the most. We had the most cap space, so obviously that's one of the factors. But we did a lot in this off season so far. The draft is coming up, and looking at the other teams in the division, I don't think they can compete with us right now. Even if the season started today, I think we've done a really good job with the signings, and the rest of them are pretty much playing catch up. But we'll see. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think, man. I mean, is everything on the up and up? Do you think the Falcons are the best team in the NFC South? What do you think about the Panthers, Saints, or the Bucks? I mean, you think we still got a long way to go to catch up with them? Also, what do you think about this wide receiver situation? Wide receiver 2, there's a good bit of talent out there still left. So let me know what you guys think. I will see you guys on the next one. It's Friday. The next episode will be on Friday, so we will have probably a shorter show. Maybe depends on what news come across the wire. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank you guys once again. Hit that like button. Also, give me a 5-star rating on Apple or podcast avenues or any other avenues to give you a high rating. Give me that. If I haven't said it, I'll say it again. I'm on YouTube and Rumble, also Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. All right, y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, and I'll see you guys on Friday. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.